Greetings, I am Zeroth, and I have a bit of a soft spot for poetry, so I thought I would, on my channel, recite a bit, and maybe give my opinion. And I thought, why not start with my favorite, Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Now, I'll be reciting from my Kindle, so sorry if I'm looking up and down. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, as I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, rapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon my floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. Ah, the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, that it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," I said, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that scarce I was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token. The only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all the soul within me burning, soon I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," I said, "that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter in stepped a stately raven from the saintly days of yore. Not at least obeisance made he, not a minute stop or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady, perched upon my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then the ebony bird beguiling, mice advancing into smiling, by grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl into hear discourse so plainly. Through its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing a bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that word he did outpour. Nothing further then he uttered, not a feather he then fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, I said, what it utters is only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master who, unmercifully disastered, followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of the never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant by croaking nevermore. This I sat, engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned unto my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamp gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining, with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press, ah, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by Sephram, whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy guy hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget his lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, I said, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempest tossed thee here upon a shore desolate yet undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, upon this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, I said, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above, by us, by that God we both adore, tell the soul with sorrow laden, if within disdain, if shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I said, shrieking, upstarting, get thee back into the tempest on the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as token that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy break from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. The raven, never flittering, still is sitting upon the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming through his shadows on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Now, many people might not like Edgar Allan Poe, and they are entitled to their opinion. But in my own opinion, he is my favorite because he is truly able to capture a sense of dread and sadness, which for me I find to be difficult for many authors, or poets, or movies, or even video games. Now, I don't know if you, among my audience, should there be an audience, actually think of video games as potentially art. I personally do. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all video games are high art, but the potential is there. But back to my point, I do not see myself as a person easily moved. Now, you may see that as being cold, but that is my honest opinion. Though there are a few select songs, poems, and such that truly do move me. And this is one of the few. This poem, honestly, I can feel the sadness and the darkness in this poem. Well, that's my opinion. If you have a different opinion, should anyone be watching this, because let's face it, this is a brand new channel, tell me it down in the comments below. Till then, see you next time.